Whether it's the thrill of victory, or the agony of defeat, or even the off season, we'll cover it all here on Broad Street. I'm your boy, Mizzy Miz Kukak County 3 representing the Birds. Let's get to today's topic. Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio. They spoke to the media today. We're gonna play all the whole thing. Okay, so let me just give my thoughts before we listen to it. I love what I'm hearing. I love what I'm hearing. Now, we'll have to wait and see in 120 days how all this pans out, because talk is cheap. I like what I'm hearing. Eagles Nation loves what they're hearing when it comes to Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore. Let's see how all this pans out in September 6th, when we face the Green Bay Packers in Brazil. But right now in May, I love what I'm hearing from Kellen Moore. What I'm going to do before we listen to him is I'm going to read what he had press conference. Okay? I'm going to read what he had to say. Let's see. He said, new offensive coordinator said he will bring motion and pre-snap motion to the Eagles offense and wants to show the defense different alignments and different looks at the same time. Okay? Certainly the shift in motion aspect of it, probably goes back to how I grew up around the game with my dad. And being a high school coach, then being a college at Boise State, we kind of use it a lot. It always kind of stuck with me. There's obviously advantage to it. There's some things that you try to gather information for the defense, and there's other times that you simply stress in the defense. So I think there's those two elements. Ultimately, you're trying to build packages to create things so that the run and the action game and the drop packs game, so there's alignment and similarities to the, But I like what I'm hearing. I love what I'm hearing from Vic Fangio. Now, I love what I hear from both. Now, granted, Cowboy fans, the straight rats, like Boss Cowboy is going to say, we're going to hate Kellen Moore in November. Some say August, October. It's a wait and see for me. What's up, Daniel? What's up, Rock the Artist? Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to listen to both, and we'll give our thoughts on what he had to say. Okay? So while I set this up, let's listen to Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio. First, we'll listen to Vic Fangio. No, first we'll listen to Kellen Moore. Okay? First, let's listen to Kellen.
How's it going, guys?
How you doing? What's it like to come into a new job and have this kind of talent on the roster?
Yeah, it's been a really fun process. Through the whole process, you're kind of getting to know the personnel, and then just the way Howie's obviously handled this offseason has been phenomenal. Just, the pieces we've added to complement the pieces that are already in place. I think it's been a phenomenal setup. We're really, really excited about it.
What do you recall from your head coaching interview here, and how much was that on your mind when you took the OC job?
Yeah, really fun process. Really impacted me just how phenomenal the people were. Fortunate to get to know, Mr. Lurie, Howie, the whole crew. They had a really long, thorough process. It was really impressive. And so obviously those relationships and those conversations extended beyond just that, that day or two. And so, obviously those things, I think have led us hopefully to something that where we've had an opportunity to come here and team up with these guys.
Let me stop right there real quick. Let me stop right there. Listen to what he had to say, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talking to Jeffrey Lurie, Howie T, and Nick Sirianni. There you go. Let's continue on.
System different? How's your system different from what Eagles have done here the past 3 years?
Yeah, I think everyone's got their different flavor from a systematic approach. I think our real focus here, as we've gone through this process, is we got a lot of good going on, and we can't lose the good in the reps that Jalen and AJ have developed, and Dallas has developed, this offensive line have developed, and how can we build off of those things and really connect the whole thing. And so that's been a really fun process. There'll be tweaks, there'll be changes. Everything's constantly evolving. That's part of this whole offseason program. I mean, we just got to our first week of actually being on the field with these guys. Once you get on the field, things just start evolving. And so that's really where we're at. We're at a really beginning level of this thing. We're really excited to go through this process with phase 3, get a little bit more field work. And then really when you get to training camps, when you can really hammer in the run game and the play action game and how all that stuff connects.
We're going to talk about having outside ideas. He's talked about blending philosophies, finding someone who has other answers. What's that blending like? What just kind of what it was like when you guys work together? What do you work? Just kind of an insight to what that's experiences.
I think it's a really fun process. Fortunately, like most of us who go in this profession, you have different times in your career where, whether it's a new coach coming in or you're going to a new place, there's people just have different exposures. And so the more conversations you can have, the more discussion points. Hey, we had an issue with this. Hey, we had a potential answer, vice versa. And you have that continuous conversation. It's been really, really fun. I love the opportunities that we can sit down, we can just talk about things. And I learn from Nick. Hopefully I can bring some things that, people can learn hopefully from just maybe an experience that I've had that's different than theirs. I think that's part of this whole process is we got a really, really good coaching staff here. There's a good reason. I was fortunate to bring Doug and Kyle, but a lot of guys stayed here because we got a really, really good staff.
How does that compare to previous stops? Like, is it more collaborative? Would you feel like it's a different process to what you've done in the past?
Each stop is, really the big emphasis is on collaboration. And so whether it's, when I was fortunate to hop into as an OC role, we kind of kept the system in place and kind of made our little adjustments when Jason was our head coach. Mike came in Dallas. We were fortunate to kind of merge those two worlds together. It was a really fun process. And then going to LA last year, we had a similar thing where, try and keep some of the things that were in place, build off of that, and kind of build ultimately what our 2023 last year. And obviously this year, our focus is really ultimately what do we want 2024 to look like, whether it comes from 23 or beyond, wherever it comes from, it comes from.
You've been good quarterbacks in your career so far. What are your first impressions of Jalen and how is he unique to guys like Dak and Justin?
Yeah, I really enjoyed Jalen's process. So far, I think really it's focused on how he processes the game and just kind of the classroom aspect of it. And we're beginning the field process of really getting out on the field and being able to do this thing. But I've really enjoyed our conversations. I think he's a really smart player. He has a great feel for this game. The more conversation we have, the more we get to make these adjustments and build off of this thing. But Jalen's one of the premier quarterbacks in this league for a reason. And he's
Jalen's the premier quarterback of this league. Enough said. Continue.
see it, on film previously, but obviously getting on the field now, you're certainly seeing it.
How different will Doug and Kyle? It seems like an apparent focus on quarterbacks and your choice there, if that's true. I mean, what do you guys feel needs to be accomplished there? What do you bring differently in terms of quarterbacks and your approach? What needs to happen?
I think anytime the quarterback room, you always have to be conscious of how many voices are with the quarterback. And so I'm fortunate I've been around Doug for a number of years, really since he joined our staff in Dallas in 2018, but in 2020, he became the quarterback coach. And so we've kind of done this thing together for a number of years now. And, we kind of complement each other and certainly personalities and the way we coach. And so we can kind of play off each other, feed off each other really, really well. He does a phenomenal job with the details and the fundamentals just of playing the quarterback position. And he does a great job with that. I think the more you're around him, you see him out on the field, the drill work and all the things that he does to tie the pass game together for the quarterback is huge. And it allows me to kind of stay in the scheme aspect of this thing to be a little bit more on the philosophical side, while still being, will overlap. And I think that's a critical aspect of this thing.
With Kellen, with Jalen, what's the
different will it be? How different will it be having a quarterback like Jalen who is such a threat in the run game as opposed to like the other quarterbacks that you've had in the past?
Certainly, what Jalen's done in the run game is there's a handful of guys who can do this in this league, and so it's certainly a really advantageous thing that we can continue to utilize, and certainly we will. And so
You heard
it's a
that?
process that I've enjoyed, just better learning about how we've been able to use him, and then exploring some other ways as we continue to grow this thing, how we can continue to build off of that. And so it's something that Jalen's done a phenomenal job with, and we'll obviously continue to embrace.
You heard that? In other words, to all you haters, doubts, and critics, my boy's still going to use his legs. But when it comes to that throwing the ball, please, Jalen freaking Hurts. Let's continue. Listen, I love what I'm hearing, y'all. I love what I'm hearing from Kellen Moore. Now, granted, we'll see how the season starts before we make our final judgment. But right now in May, I like it. Let's see how we do in September. And by the way, the schedule is going to be released this Wednesday. So, Kellen, once the schedule is released, Kellen, you better be working on that playbook. I want the head of them street rats. I want the head of them street rats.
What's been the process as far as getting to know Jalen? Maybe not as much the football stuff, but just kind of getting to know him as a person and building that connection.
Yeah, I think that's the fun process, the whole thing. It's a very ongoing process, just like any player on our offense. Anyone who comes into a new environment, process, even if it's a 30-second 1-minute conversation heading out to the field, all the different things, what you quickly realize is, from Mr. Lurie to Howie to Nick, this place has been built on some phenomenal people, and you quickly feel it just being around this building. It's a really special place, and so I've really enjoyed it.
To be, I guess, the head coach here in 2021, what did you learn about this organization through that process, and did you kind of rely on some of that information when it came time to accept this job?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it was just a really awesome opportunity to meet the people and connect with them. Like I was saying earlier, with Howie, Mr. Lurie, everyone, a lot of this building was a part of that process. And so those relationships continue to grow, even beyond that couple days that process went on. And so it's been really good. You quickly realize how special the people are here. It's a really good organization. There's guys here who've been here for a number of years for a really good reason. And so you quickly felt that, and, it's continued certainly up to today.
And the players learning a new terminology.
Terminology, plays are plays, words are words. I think it's a combination of things that we can build off of. Hey, if everyone understands a play and it makes sense, let's keep things in place. That's not that complicated. We're continuing to evolve the system to make sure that the language ties together, that the communication can be clean, and whether that word comes from Philadelphia, Los Angeles, or somewhere in between, we're building that as we go.
So does it come from Philadelphia, Los Angeles, or somewhere in between?
All three.
As a player and as a coach, you played with and coach high-profile offensive talent. How do you make sure everyone is involved and happy, for lack of a better term, we have so many weapons on offense?
Yes, certainly we're really excited about the guys that we have in place here. A lot of guys who can do a lot of different roles and a lot of variety. And so that excites us as far as just the way we can present things for the defense, challenge people pre-snap with all the different alignments and personnel groups that we can play with. And so that'll be a continuing building process. I think the biggest thing is having clear identity of who we want to be, and ultimately week in and week out, understanding their role, certainly through a game. There's going to be certain games where guys are going to get more attention than others. Understand that you're a big part of it. You may have the big time assist on a play, that gives us an opportunity for someone else to score a touchdown. And maybe the next week now it goes vice versa, and someone else has to help the other guy out. And so I think there's that continuous trust as we build this thing.
When it comes to motion and offense, that's been one of the things that's a little bit different. The Eagles, a lot of ways to impart information. The Eagles haven't used it a lot. You're typically in the top 10. Is that something based on the players, or is that your sort of philosophy to have?
Yeah, certainly the shift in motion aspect of it. It probably goes back, to how I grew up around the game with my dad being a high school coach and being in college at Boise State. We kind of used it a lot. And so it's always kind of stuck with me. I think there's obviously advantages to it. There's some things that you're trying to gather information for the defense, and there's other times you're simply stressing the defense. And so, I think there's those two elements, and ultimately you're trying to build packages and create things so that the run and the action game and the drop back game, and so there's alignment and there's similarities with the presentations that allows us to stress the defense with those different looks.
On game day, from a play calling perspective, what is the most important thing to you?
Clean operation. As far as for me, just keeping clean operation for the quarterback. Hopefully we prepared the right way. We understand that adjustments have to be made during games. There's always those elements, but you got to be a clean, steady operation for the quarterback. He deals with a lot during games. Understand that aspect of it, and hopefully I can provide that.
Who have you admired most as a play caller?
As a play caller, you learn from each and every experience. I think that's the big thing. I don't think I'm stuck in this is the one way of doing things. My dad was a high school coach. I was fortunate to play in college for Chris Peterson, who was a really phenomenal coach at Boise State. Through my NFL journey, I've been with a bunch of head coaches, whether I was a player or a coach. And so you take different examples from each and every one of those guys. And so you're continuing to evolve as a coach, just like our systems continue to evolve. And I think that's the biggest thing is we just embrace that, we're constantly trying to find what's the next element, what's the new thing, what's something that can give us an advantage. And I think that's the most important aspect of this thing.
What about vision for Saquon?
For Saquon, Saquon's a premier running back first and foremost. And so we're really excited about his ability to run the football. Obviously behind this offensive line has done a tremendous job and they have such cohesion and done a great job up front. He's going to be a great running back, but obviously we know the aspects that make him great is his ability to be a pass protector, to be a receiver out of the backfield. He does a phenomenal job with those things. And I think, obviously we got to try and utilize him as much as we can while understanding it's a long season for all running backs. And so, I think we got some great guys behind him and Kenny and Will and all the rest of the guys over there that we're excited about. And so, we're fortunate to have Saquon.
When it came to the transition from the Cowboys to the Chargers, what did you learn about yourself as a coach from that transition that you feel like you can use from the Chargers to here? So.
Yeah, really, I was fortunate in Dallas to go from a player to a coach. And so I was kind of in the same place for 8 years. And so going somewhere really ultimately very new to you, very little connection initially. You learn to grow. You learn how to make the adjustments necessary as you kind of build a system and all that sort of stuff. And so I think you definitely grow a lot from that experience, and hopefully it helps, moving forward to this place.
Kelsey was responsible for blitz protection and pickups for many years here. He's no longer.
What's up, everybody? We just reacting to Kellen Moore. All right, we're almost done. I get it. We got lots to talk about for him. And then we're going to move on to Vic Fangio. And then I'll answer some of y'all questions. But right now, I like what I'm hearing. Okay? Let me look at some of y'all real quick before we continue on. I like what I'm hearing from Kellen Moore. I really do. Again, let me see how this all plays out in September. Right? I'm the type of guy that wants to see things play out in September. Okay? Because it's great to talk about in May. And I love what I'm hearing from Kellen Moore. I do play action, motion, running the ball. I love what I'm hearing from this man. Same with Vic Fangio. But I need to see it when we get on that field versus the Green Bay Packers. We're just listening to Kellen Moore. We're just listening to Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio. I had to, I'm trying, right. I can't wait either. Right. I ain't trying to be on Cool Cat Mitch with MK Mitchkowski, and then I'm screaming, run the ball, and we don't do it. I ain't trying to be cowboy-ish. I ain't trying to be like these people.
Run Paulo here, because we've been throwing the ball a lot. Oh, shit! Dad! No!
It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off! It's over!
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay!
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today! That was on you, Dak! That was on you, Dak! That was on you, Dak!
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott! Trying to defend the CeeDee Lamb! Trying to defend the CeeDee Lamb! You trying to defend the CeeDee Lamb!
We ain't trying to be like that. We is not trying to be like that, ladies and gentlemen. Right. Right. We ain't trying to be like that. Right. So, yeah, let's continue on with Kellen Moore. All right, let's continue on. I love what I'm hearing. We're almost done. And get them likes up. Go to Birds of Broad Street and click that subscribe button. We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers before Brazil, week 1. I want to do super chats and stuff on the Birds of Broad Street. So all of us, me, Moan, Smitty, Trigger Trey, can all go to games together. But it'll only work if y'all hit that subscribe button so we can do super chats. All right? Let's continue on with Kellen Moore. All right? I love what I'm hearing.
Longer here, obviously. Do you anticipate Cam Jurgens will assume that role?
Yeah, I think it's a similar process as far as Cam, but obviously you're continuing to evolve that system. I think the biggest thing is that'll take the whole offseason and even through the season is continuing to utilize the offensive line has a great perspective, the quarterback has a great perspective, and ultimately those guys have to be aligned and on the same page. And so really excited about just getting on the field with these guys and really building that system and understand what tools we have in the toolbox, continue to have those conversations where we can have the answers necessary to handle the different challenges that defenses present.
What are the most challenging? What are the keys to supplying quarterbacks answers against pressure?
Yeah, I think it's just having a clean toolbox. There's a lot of different things we can do, but just making sure it's clean, effective, and as you build it, you got to continue to evolve. And so that, 1 week, maybe your answer is a certain play. And then maybe the next week you got to make the adjustment off of that. And so that's, I think, the continuous evolution through the season. There's going to be different challenges each and every week. We're going to walk into a room and deal with the blitz protection. And we're going to look at it, and there's going to be a couple challenges each and every week. That's what these defenses do. They're really good. They scheme me up. They give you a lot of challenges. And so you're continuing to find, okay, what's the next tool that we can use? What's the next tool that we can use while still keeping it clean for the quarterback so that he knows exactly what he needs and he can handle it accordingly.
What have you found to be the most challenging elements of blending offensive philosophy?
I think that's the biggest process that, when maybe you make an adjustment with the language, as funny as it may sound, making sure it doesn't fall into an issue down the line and something else, whether you make an adjustment to a pass play and maybe the words now, associated with a screen and vice versa. There's just some language stuff that you're continuing to make sure we just keep it really clean for these players so they can play fast, know exactly what we want to accomplish each and every play, and so they can just go for it.
So to follow up, it sounds like you're keeping some language, you're bringing in some of your foreign language, and then you're creating new language to have it all sort of fused together. It sounds complicated. Is it a complicated process?
No, plays are plays. Football's football. I think a lot of us have been exposed to this. I think the biggest thing is, you want to just make sure the language is connected. And so each and every year, even if I was in Dallas, every single year we went through this process. It was the same process. You go through it, and during the season, you just want to clean up the language, make sure it's clean. And so some of this language, some of it will fall into 2023 Philly, some of it will fall into Dallas or LA, and some of it will ultimately come from, hey, we just want to clean this whole thing up and we're just going to create a new family of words association. And so that's the biggest thing for us, is just making it a really clean system. And that's what you do each and every year, no matter where you're at.
When you were hired, what did Nick say he wanted from you as the offensive coordinator?
Yeah, Nick and I, we just had some great conversation. Obviously, we've been in contact. We've known each other for a number of years, just from afar, and so tons of respect for Nick. Really, really enjoyed when we competed from opposite sidelines, but then obviously get to know him off the field. We went through the interview process. It was phenomenal. Really good group. I think the biggest thing was, I felt like, hey, we got some really good stuff going on here, and we can't lose the good. And so Nick and I are really, really excited just to team up on this thing, team up as a whole offensive staff, and really just build this offense exactly how we want to in 2024.
What have you learned about him that maybe you didn't know before you came here?
I think he's excellent with the details and holding guys accountable to the details and the fundamentals. And that's what I've been really, really excited about this first few weeks of just getting on the field, is how much attention we focus on the fundamentals and details. I think he does a phenomenal job with it. He does a phenomenal job holding guys accountable in the team meetings with it. And it's going to be a really exciting process.
Where do you stand on how much you give a quarterback autonomy to change plays at the line?
Yeah, ultimately they have a front view seat at this thing, and so we want to give the QB tools and the ability to make the adjustments necessary at the line of scrimmage, while also trying to keep it as clean and concise so he can play fast. And so ultimately, we want them to have the ability to make the adjustments necessary, but we can't dilute it to the point that he's got 500 million things that he can potentially do at the line of scrimmage, and now we're not all on the same page. And so a lot of times the QB knows what it is, but it's also about making sure all 11 are tied to what those adjustments are. And so Jalen's been phenomenal. I'm excited about building that process with him.
When you look at your 6th year as an offensive coordinator, how has your youth and your playing experience helped you or factored into your coaching?
Yeah, obviously, 35 now. When I first got into it, it was funny because I was really slid into the OC role, and I was with a lot of guys that I'd actually played with. And so as you're going, obviously that aspect of it changes, and you become a little bit of an older coach, so to speak. But obviously, anyone who's been able to be fortunate enough to play in the league, play in college football or wherever it may be, you can always lean on those experiences and those exposures. And so it's been a fun process. I've really enjoyed, just getting to know these guys, getting to know the staff, spending time together, and building this thing.
When you look at
come up as a playful way around the building.
Yeah. Obviously, it's unique, within the division, and so I was fortunate to be there for 8 years. Obviously, I had a lot of great experiences. This thing's been awesome here. I've really, really enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun.
last one, Martin.
When you look at the offense from the last 6-7 games, and Nick has kind of admitted like it kind of grew stale and everything. What did you see, and like how did you kind of figure you can kind of add your touch to that?
Yeah. Obviously it's hard for me to judge it totally being from afar because I don't know the day-to-day aspect of it. But obviously, every team's going to go through different challenges. Those things come up, whether it's wins, losses, offensive success, defensive success. There's, I think, really ultimately, we're really, really focused on 2024. You learn some lessons from 2023 just as far as, some different things that come up. But, you really just try and move forward. I wasn't around for that. And so, I'm probably a bad judge too. You guys were around it closer than me. So.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Listen, I want to know from y'all, how do y'all feel about Kellen Moore? Before we continue on, you have listened to Kellen Moore. What's your thoughts? I want to know from you guys. Let's hear from y'all before we go to Vic Fangio next. I want to hear from y'all. What's your thoughts on Kellen Moore so far? What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts? That is true. Let's get there, though. That's my thing. Let's get there. Let's get there. I see it as well, but it starts in 2 weeks in OTAs. It starts in mini camp. I love what I'm hearing. I just want to see it. So how we feeling? Let's see. I just want the offense to be balanced. Exactly. That's me as well. I want the offense to be balanced. Right? 50% run the ball with Saquon Barkley. With Will Shepley. and Jalen freaking Hurts. And of course, throw that AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Aaliyah Smith, Goddard. Basically, the offense needs to be around this man right here. Jalen freaking. Hopefully, that's what they're going to do in OTAs. I'm hoping. I'm confident in Kellen Moore. We'll see in September if he's exactly. That's me. That's me. I want to see in September. We're 120 days till we face the Green Bay Packers. This Wednesday, we'll know who we'll face weeks 2 to 17 and where we get the bye week. Exactly. You got Jalen freaking Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert, the best offensive line in the game under Jeff Stoutland University. I love that Vic Fangio wants to practice harder. We look defeated in week last season on defense. We don't look like that. Exactly. Before we get to Vic Fangio, right? Before we get to Vic Fangio, I want to show y'all something. I want to show you something. Hold on. I want to show y'all something, okay? Before we go back to Twitter. Before we go to Vic Fangio. Okay? Let me show y'all something. And y'all tell me that my team ain't having fun. I think I saw something. Hold on. Let me see if I can find both these clips. Let me see. Let me find out. Molly Moan. Let me find out. All right, here it is. I'm going to show y'all these 2 clips. Now, y'all tell me that my team ain't having fun right now. Hold on, I'm going to show y'all. Hold on. Before we get to Vic Fangio, tell me my team ain't having fun right now. Nothing but some competition.
Oh, here we go.
My boy!
See if you can like go and catch it rep for a job.
In the half. Here we go. Uh-oh.
They go grab no round
I'm not you anymore. Here we go.
Sidney Brown about to move. Oh, who about to move? Who about to move? Come on. Come on. Look at Jalen right there. Woo! Let's see. They working. Brown might be ready. Yes, even Gannon had our defense playing hard. Desai and Patricia wasn't it at all. Exactly. Why hire them? I saw this clip earlier. Sidney Brown not injured. There you go. If so, Dijon can go to slot instead of maybe. Maybe. And then there's this clip right here that I also saw. I think, all right. The Eagles bonded from last year. And then there's this. Eagles bonding from last year to this year feels totally different. One more time. Is that Nick Sirianni right there, too? What's that? Little coach. I can't wait, y'all. Listen, I don't know what the hell happened last year. I don't know what the hell happenn last year. But damn it, the hell, I'm excited. Listen to me. I don't know what the hell happened last year with my Bears and my quarterback. And my head coach. I don't know what happened last year when that collapsed, but man, do I love what I'm seeing right now. Slay, Mitchell, Dijon, Brown, CJ. Then you have Rodgers on the dime. I shouldn't be excited, y'all. I really shouldn't, right? I really shouldn't be excited. I really shouldn't. But man! After what I'm hearing from Kellen Moore, after what I'm hearing from Vic Fangio, I'm loving what I'm hearing. I don't know about y'all. I love what I'm hearing. I love what I'm hearing. Now put it into motion week 1. I want them Dallas Cowboys on a platter the second I see them. I want them street rats on a platter when I see them. I love what I'm seeing, y'all. I love what I'm seeing. I love what I'm hearing. I love it. 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 I love what I'm hearing and I love what I'm seeing. Schedule can't come out quick enough. We know about Green Bay. I want to know everybody else. I want to know about everybody else. Schedule can't come quick enough. So let's go on and let's hear from Vic Fangio. That is the next guy. Unless y'all got something else to say, y'all let me know in the comments. Right? Y'all let me know in the comments if you got something else to say. But we're going to go on and we're going to listen to Vic Fangio. Does anybody else got anything to say before we listen to Vic? By the way, please, listen, y'all. This only works because of you. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Like, subscribe, comment to the Birds Brawl Street YouTube channel. Please, let's get to 1,000 subs before week 1. Get Blank in the weight room. Exactly. So let's go on and let's listen to Vic Fangio, the next guy. All right, let me put this up. Vic Fangio is next to speak. Here we go.
Yeah, I know you guys can afford a nice phone like that.
Hey, put that down.
All right, who's first? Unless you want a filibuster to begin with.
What do you got?
Nothing. Go ahead.
So why Philly? Why decided to come here?
Well, it was exactly 40 years ago when I started my pro coaching career across the street at Veterans Stadium. And thought it'd be cool to hopefully end it here. So 40 years later, here I am. And a lot of things change and a lot of things don't, you know. One of the first things I've done several times, I still go to the Palladium down on Packer for my meals, just like I did way back then. And Phillies are still playing good. Okay. Although you guys didn't clobber them for losing one game yesterday, did you? Oh, well, but no, just to come back, my kids live 2 hours south of here. My mother lives, who's 97, 2 hours north of here. So a lot of family considerations. Philly, I was a big Philly fan growing up in all sports. So it was a thrill for me to go to work every day at Veterans Stadium 40 years ago because I used to go to games there all the time. And now it's a good thrill to come back 40 years later and hopefully finish it out here.
So you expect this to be your last stop?
I would think so, but as we all know in this business, nothing's guaranteed.
Is this your expectation to come back here when you left Miami? Did you kind of see this as an opportunity, and is that why you left Miami to come here?
Basically, yes.
So 38 years ago, when you were here a couple of years ago, what were your responsibilities when you were?
Just because y'all want it. Just because y'all want it. Hold on.
Opportunity.
Pardon me for a
these
second.
young people, whether it's the draft, coming in here without having, which we've done at times in the past when we obviously brought in a Cooks and we bring in a Gilmore. It makes it hard for some of these guys to come in and play and beat those guys out. Obviously, there's going to be some opportunity. And, we do have some guys who didn't play for us last year. Overshown, John Stevens, who was on his way to making this team before he tore his ACL. You have a Diggs who you didn't get to play. You didn't see play but a couple of games last year, so we're going to have him back. So there's a lot of different moving parts that we didn't have that were a part of this team in addition to the draft. And, of course, when we make these draft picks, they're going to.
And, of course, your favorite.
Run Paulo here, because we've been throwing the ball a lot.
Oh, shit! Dad! No! It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off. It's over.
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay. Congratulations, Green Bay. Congratulations, Green Bay.
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay. Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today. That was on you, Dak. That was on you, Dak. That was on you, Dak.
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott.
Where the hell is he throwing it
Trying to fantasy Lamb. Trying to fantasy Lamb. You trying to fantasy Lamb.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's get back to Vic Fangio.
Oh, in 22?
Yeah.
I wouldn't hear that often. I really helped the offense. I'd say 95% of any of my contributions were to the offense and 5% doing educating, trying to give the offensive coaches a pre-look at the defense they're going against, what could possibly hurt them, what's their strengths, what's their weaknesses, schematically where they can be attacked maybe and not attacked, all that different kind of stuff. But it wasn't every week.
Would you have been here if the timeline of defensive coordinator openings was different last year?
I think that's a fair assumption.
We've heard a lot of people talk about your defense, but from your perspective, what are the most important elements of it?
Good players. And I'm not trying to be a wise guy with that, but we have a system that is versatile. We like to think that it needs to be versatile because every week you're facing different strengths of an offense, different schemes. So what you play in one week 10, 15 times, you may not play it all the next week. So you have to have a versatile system for the offenses today in the NFL. And what we'll eventually do is learn what our guys are best at. So I like to throw a lot at them early because I think one of the worst things you can do is come week 3, week 5, man, we could really use this scheme, but it hadn't been introduced to the players yet. Whereas if you introduced it to them in training camp and worked on it, when you pull it back out 3-4 weeks later, there's recall. So we'll throw a lot at them in training camp to see what best fits for them, what they're good at, and then try and whittle it down. But always keeping some stuff in the bank in case we need it at some point during the season.
Along those lines,
Whoa, Bob, you got a referee here.
We'll do DJ and then Mark.
We've seen a lot of defenses across the league about aspects of your scheme. You hear a lot about the Fangio scheme. Does it present challenges as more defenses kind of try to emulate what you do? Like, how do you handle that?
Yes and no. Yes, in that you see the way some teams may want to try and attack it, but no in the sense that it's not as different as it was when we first started doing it and built it. So it's yes and no.
So along the lines of getting good players and everything, like how much of an influence or a factor were you in the players, they acquired during the offseason, whether it was like the free agent guys, the guys that drafted Quignon and Cooper, stuff like that?
Yeah, Howie asked me to watch several players. I gave him my opinion, and then he took it from there.
When it comes to versatile players, like Cooper, a lot of people projected him at different spots around the league. What's your philosophy?
I agree.
As far as how you
I agree.
Out like that?
Please give our starters playing time in the preseason.
Yeah, there's a lot of players that physically are capable of being versatile. Agree. Where a lot of them get eliminated from being versatile is they struggle to learn and the assignments and the techniques and the execution at a couple different positions. So there's a lot of guys that are versatile physically, but can't do it mentally. And I don't mean that they're not going to get, your reps are watered down the more you're moving around, and other guys are easier. It comes easier for them than others, if that makes sense to you. And what was the second part?
Just the fact of how you start those types of players out. If you see
Yeah, you start them out at a primary position, and then you start giving them the secondary position and go from there.
In fact, after you left Miami, it was suggested that you didn't get along with some of the players, that there were relationship strains. What was your perspective? What was the reality of it from your?
Yeah, I didn't see that at all, really. Anything we do, whether they're here or anywhere else I've been, is what we think's the best for the team and best for the defense specifically to stop somebody. And wherever that falls, that's where it falls.
Follow up on that, how have players changed since that day, those day 40 years ago across the street? How are they different now than they were?
That's a good question. We can stay here all day and answer that, but I'm going to give you the Cliff Note version of that. They really haven't changed very much at all. What's changed is the people around them. People are not expecting as much out of players as we used to expect. And these players will work and give you everything they got within reason. And there's too much of, and that starts at an early age, when they're in high school, college, everybody, less is more type thing. They preserve your energy. You guys hear in the NBA and load management, and I talk to coaches from other sports that I know, and, it drives them crazy. But the players are willing to work. Never had an issue with that. And they're still willing to work. But we, as the so-called adults in the room, need to push them.
So how have you adapted to?
And linebacker specifically, how do you see personnel here matching what you want to do?
Well, when you say linebacker, I think inside. I think they're off to a good start. We've got Bond here who's played a little bit of inside linebacker in New Orleans. He really didn't play a whole lot of defense there, but he was inside some, more outside. We think he can play inside, and I have not seen anything so far that says otherwise. Obviously, we got Devin here from Tampa. You guys are well aware of him. He had a great career going, had a down year last year for whatever reason. We hope to get him back to where he was. N'Kobe's on the mend from his injuries last year. Who am I forgetting here? Keep going.
There's Trotters.
Yeah, Trotter's got to come in and join the fray, and let's see what he has. And Burks too, he's been a veteran backup. He's in the hunt too. So, we don't have anybody established as per se an Eagle, but we've got guys to work with, and we're happy with the group so far.
To follow up on Bob's question, your response to that about the changes in the game over the 40 years. So how have you found that you have had to adapt to the limited schedule? And in fact, from here, the Eagles probably practice as few as any team, least amount maybe last year as any team in the NFL. How will you adapt to that?
Well, you got to do with what you got, but I keep pushing for more.
Did you push for more this offseason before coming here?
I'll let Nick answer that for you.
You think players can take that the wrong way?
Take what?
Take the pushing and
Not, again, within reason. I'm not proposing we go 2-a-days and do, what is it, North Dallas? What was the thing in Dallas?
40.
Yeah, North Dallas 40. Yeah.
in 2022 that was sort of a hiatus where you got to dive in to study and catch up.
Yeah.
Just study trends and things like that. When you have a system that everybody's trying to use in their own system. So did you take time between this off season, between Miami to now? What are you trying to do in terms of taking a step ahead, and how much different do you think things can be with the players that you have here?
Well, I got to first learn these players. And, I think the narrative you're painting that people are pulling stuff from our defense. They're not doing it verbatim. You know what I'm saying? Mostly. But no, I've been super busy since I came here. Anytime you go somewhere and it's your first off season with a new staff, new players, adapting to everything, you're super busy. And, Yeah, I study film. I mean, I take a couple defenses every year and break them down around the league, and, see if I can learn something. I don't know if I'm answering your question.
And with the Eagles hadn't picked a cornerback in a long time, how much was your voice in that? And for a guy like Quignon, how does that, his skill set help you what you can do with your secondary?
Yeah, he's obviously got good movement. He's got good size for a corner. He's going to have to adapt to the NFL game, covering NFL receivers, NFL schemes in the passing game. There's a lot to learn. But we think he's the right guy, emotionally and mentally to do that. And hopefully he'll pay dividends quickly rather than later, but he's going to be one of the many competing.
Having worked with Sean Desai as long as you did, what was your perspective on the way that last year went for him here?
I really don't know. Anytime it goes bad like it did, it's usually everybody has their fingerprints on it. It's not just one thing or one person.
When it comes to that, you've had that Blatt defender, Sam linebacker. You've had some success with that. Van Ginkel had a big year for you last year. Is that something you want, or is that something that I have this player and I kind of want to take advantage of this particular player?
His versatility you're talking about?
Well, his role. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, he obviously showed that I thought he could do it, and then he showed he could do it. So we used him that way. And then we got handcuffed through injuries. He had to play one position then. But yeah, anytime you have guys that are versatile, it helps. Helps a lot.
When you went about building the staff, the rest of the defensive staff, what was important to you?
To get good coaches. I mean, obviously some of these guys I've had some history with, but it really wasn't the history of knowing them, why they're here. I had firsthand knowledge that they're good coaches. So that was first and foremost. Joe was here, Clint, Bobby King, I didn't know from Adam till we hired him, and he's done a great job so far. So priority one was good coaches. Then if they did have familiarity with the scheme or me, that helped.
A lot of these guys you'll be their fourth defensive coordinator in in a couple years. A lot of these guys are going to have three position coaches. How much of a challenge is that to kind of start from scratch again for them?
It does add a level of challenge to it. Hopefully we'll get enough work between the off season and training camp to get through that. But there's no denying that continuity, if it's good continuity, is helpful.
What's the best way to maximize Jalen Carter in your defense?
Who?
Jalen Carter.
Well, I mean, I think he's talented enough that no matter what we do with him, we'll be maximizing him. He's got to get in great shape, which I think he's off to a great start here. And so we can play him a lot.
In terms of limiting explosive plays, where do you rank that in terms of priorities?
High.
Highest?
It's high.
What about getting after the quarterback? How big is that for you?
High.
Highest.
It's high.
How about not letting the other team score? Where's that kind of right?
That's number one. That's the highest.
You asked about Jalen Carter. What about Jordan Davis? How do you?
Same thing. He's heading into his third year. I think he's off to a good start this offseason. I mean, I don't have anything to compare it to, not having been here his first 2 years. But I think he's working good. I think he's rounding into good shape. It's up to us to give him the opportunity and platform to get in good shape, and then rely on him when he leaves here and, that dead time between the offseason and camp. Well, from what I've seen so far, very encouraging.
How much input did you have with Bryce Huffin, and what do you like about him that you've seen in film and otherwise?
Yeah, Howie asked us to watch him, both myself and Wash, and we liked him, and he's been a good pass rusher for the Jets. Playing in a somewhat of a part-time role. Hopefully we can make him proficient enough to where he plays more, meaning his run play, and on the occasion or two that we might want to drop him.
last year, you mentioned, and I know you weren't a part of it, but see, when the defense is trying week to week to try to solve things, and there's a lot of hands in trying to get it back on track, what from your experience, and I don't know if the Eagles asked this from you, where you can help build game plans week to week? What are your strengths there, and whenever things do turn around that you can find solutions each week? What goes into that from the defensive coordinator position?
Well, I mean, I think what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is they weren't playing good. They had injuries, so there was a lot of moving parts. Is that what you're saying?
Finding solutions week to week.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, I'm not totally sure of your question, but when things aren't going good, you need to go back to basics. I'll tell the players early in camp that if we're struggling, don't expect me to magically scheme our way out of it during a game. We're going back to basics, and we're going to call the things that we've been practicing since day one, and we got to fight our way out of it. And if you don't have that foundation and you're always grabbing for the perfect call, you'll be okay for a little bit, but eventually you're going to get gashed.
We'll do a couple more, please. Couple more. The coverage on occasion.
What's that?
On dropping on the coverage on occasion for the edge rushers.
Mm-hmm.
What's your view on how you want to use the edge rushers in coverage?
They will occasionally drop, yes.
I think your passion for baseball is pretty.
What's that?
But just the Cliff Notes version. How do you, on the football coach, and not take your career to the baseball side of things?
Oh. I don't know. It's a good question. I had a great high school coach. When he retired, he was the second winningest coach in the state of Pennsylvania, Jack Henses, and played for him. And I kind of caught the bug from him for football, because coaching in football has more of an impact on the game than baseball does in most other sports. There's no other sport where you huddle up. Now I know there's no huddles, but you're making a call every single time. So you have an important impact. And you play one game a week, so there's a lot of practice, a lot of teaching. I enjoy practice. I enjoy teaching. Coaching in football is different than baseball for sure. It's 160. I used to say before they went to 17 games, every one of our games was worth 10 in Major League Baseball, because we had 16, they had 162. So when we lost 2 in a row, that was like losing 20 in a row in baseball. And, that kind of paints a good picture for people that don't realize that. It's just like with the Phillies here, he's letting Castellanos fight his way out of a slump. You can't do that here. And they wouldn't do that if they were in the playoffs either. They got 162 games.
We'll wrap it up with Bo, and then we got Kellen here.
I think people would look at you and Nick and think that you have kind of different personalities from the outside. How has it been working with him every day so far?
Good. No issue. I don't know why they would think that, but.
Good. All right. Thank you.
All right.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio. Again, I will say this again. I love what I like to hear from them. I do. I love what I'm hearing from both these men. And I can't wait for the season to start. I really can't. I really cannot wait. I am counting down the days, man. And again, all of this sounds great in May. All of this will sound great in June. All this will sound great in June. All this will sound great in July and August in training camp. All of this will sound great in preseason. And all of this will sound great before week 1 against the Packers. When you fly on down to Brazil week 1, and you face the Green Bay Packers, what you're saying, put it on the field. I love the speech last year. Means nothing. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Twiz. That's what I'm saying. Last year. Oh. Brian Johnson. Sean Desai. Woo! What happened? What happened? Please. Sean Desai, Brian Johnson. Woo! What happened? What happened? What happened, huh? We listened to Sean Desai, Matt Patricia, and Brian Johnson. What happened? After, woo! Especially in May. Woo! What happened? Exactly. At least we got them. Right. Because again, like I said, I want to see it in the field. I need to see it in the field. Let me hear from you guys. I need to see it on the field. I want to. I need to. I want to see it on the field. Because all of this will sound great now. But I want to see it on the field. When I'm at the game, right? Because I'm going to the Dallas game. I'm going to the next home opener. I'm probably going to a third. I'm going to a third game. I just don't know which one. But when I'm at the link, I don't want to be screaming my lungs out saying run the ball. Or why my boy Jalen freaking Hurts got hit. Or why the defense is allowing people like Kirk Cousins and all these people that we gotta face, right? Look at our opponents, right? I don't want Jaden Daniels or Danny sit your fried ad down before I make some change, or Bryce Young, or Derek Carr. Go up and down. I don't want Dak Prescott to have no 400 yards passing. Same with Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson or Matt Houston. I don't want all that. I don't want to be embarrassed in front of the whole dang world versus Green Bay. I don't. I want dub. Unlike last year when we had that number 1 seed and we had the NFC East. Hell, we even had the 2 seed, right? We even had the 2 seed. Dropped it. I want some domination from this team. I'm going to drive 8 hours back home if we ain't run the damn ball. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. You got Saquon Barkley, man. Will Shipley. Jalen Friggins. Run the ball. Let me put on my Jalen freaking Hurts jersey on. Hold on. Ugh. Run the ball, man. That's all I ask. Run the ball. I love this Kelly Green jersey. Run the ball. Don't be a dummy. Run the ball. Run it well. Run it good. Much better. Run the ball and run it good. I will personally go to the NovaCare complex and whoop some more if you don't run the ball. Because again, why get Saquon Barkley? Whose jersey I'm gonna get? Whose jerseys I'm gonna get? Whose jersey I'm gonna get? I'll probably get his jersey on my birthday. I'm probably gonna get Saquon Barkley. I'm gonna get Saquon Barkley's jersey on my birthday. On my birthday, I'm getting Saquon Barkley's jersey. And I expect when I wear it that you run the ball. Damn right. Shoot. So, with that being said, y'all, that's all that I have for today. We will be back next week on Broad Street News to break down the schedule. So, until next week, where we'll know our official schedule, whether it's the thrill of victory or the agony of defeat, we just covered it all here on Broad Street. Go Birds, fly, go fly, and remember, kids, don't be a street rat. Don't be one of these people.
Opportunity.
Pardon me for a
these young
second.
people, whether it's the draft, coming in here without having, which we've done at times in the past when we obviously brought in a Cooks and it makes it hard for some of these guys to come in and play and beat those guys out. Obviously, there's going to be some opportunity. And, we do have some guys who didn't play for us last year. An Overshown, a John Stevens, who was on his way to making this team before he tore his ACL. You have a Diggs who you didn't get to play. You didn't see play but a couple of games last year, so we're going to have him back. There's a lot of different moving parts that we didn't have that were a part of this team in addition to the draft. And, of course, when we make these draft picks, they're going to
Run Paulo here, because we've been throwing the ball a lot.
Oh, shit! Dad! No! It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off! It's over! Fuck. Congratulations, Green Bay. Congratulations, Green Bay. Congratulations, Green Bay.
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay. Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today. That was on you, Dad. That was on you, Dad. That was on you, Dad.
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott. Trying to defend the C-Lamb. Trying to defend the C-Lamb. You trying to defend the C-Lamb.